Hello, fellow gamers, and welcome to another Niko's the Legend. Yes, that's right, Niko's the Legend with Niko's plural, the Legend with another podcast. And don't forget, I'm also Nicholas Sorokin. So here we are again, back for another round of talking and discussing things around the gaming world. Things that don't matter, things that do matter. So let's talk about a little bit of cool things that we have to discuss. Well, it's mainly about me. So these are some games that I'm going to be getting soon that are coming out in the next month. Well, one's Paper Mario Color Splash, which is a RPG adventure game for the Wii U. Looks fantastic. I can't wait to get that. I'm going to get Gears of War 4 for the PC because I'm getting a brand new motherboard and processor and some more RAM for my soon-to-be baller computer. Yep. It's going to be fantastic. And I'm getting Gears for PC. You know why? Because I don't want to deal with 30 to 60 frames. I want higher than that. Consoles just don't seem to understand that, or developers for consoles don't understand how to get past that 60 frame cap limit. So, I'm getting that. And I forgot to mention, and before, there's actually 3 games I would like to get, but I'm not going to get it right away. The third one is Dragon Quest VII, Fragments of the Forgotten Past, which comes out for the 3DS this Friday. And it looks amazing. It's I guess you can say like a remastered version of the Dragon Quest VII for the PS1, which came out in early 2000s or late 90s. Can't remember exactly, but I never got a chance to play it, but it's expensive online to buy it. If you buy a used one, it's like $50. If you buy the brand new one, it's going to be way over that. So I'm glad they're releasing for the 3DS because it looks 10 times better. It's got like Dragon Quest 8 graphics, which Dragon Quest 8, if you haven't known, is like one of my favorite role-playing games of all time. Woo, woo, woo. So yeah, I just thought I'd let you guys know if you guys are going to, participate on, being the consumer and spending your hard-earned money on those games, let me know down below and let me know what game you're most excited for to get this year. But anyway, let's get on with the podcast. So today's subject is the fall of Game Grumps. Yes, Game Grumps. I've made 2 relatable podcasts about Game Grumps, which are comments on Game Grumps, and then the other one's comment on JonTron. And the reason why JonTron's relatable because JonTron and Aaron Hansen were the founding fathers of Game Grumps, and JonTron doesn't do it anymore. I think I found out the reason why he didn't do it anymore. It could be anything, right? I'm just speculating here, and the answer could be on the internet, but I like to just make up my own answers because, I'm just a typical web browser that likes to make up shit. Anyway, so yes, Game Grumps, the almighty Let's Play commentary channel. Well, to me, it's not almighty anymore, but a lot of people still watch it, and they got over 3 million subs, so it's understandable, right? Because they're like beginnings of Game Grumps. Oh man, the beginning. I remember the fucking beginning of Kirby Superstar with JonTron and Aaron Hansen, and they weren't always together making videos for Game Grumps Let's Play episodes. They were doing their own channel, and they had very, very interesting concepts of what they believe is funny. And they were very imaginative in what they did and, what they were trying to express as gamers and their love for the gaming industry. And then I guess they decided to collaborate with each other because why the fuck not? So that's what they did. And from the very beginning, it was just amazing. Like the John era. Yes, there are 2 different eras. Areas. Yes, there's the John era and then there's the Danny era. Right now, the Danny era is taking place, and it has surpassed the time of how long JonTron's been recording with Aaron Hansen, and compared to how long Danny's been recording with Aaron Hansen. Danny is winning. He's been winning for a while, but that doesn't make him better. Yeah, exactly. He's not better. So, Game Grumps. Yes, the beginnings. Kirby Superstar. Oh man, right from the start, it's funny, exhilarating, brand new concept to play to handle commentary for games and trading jokes and philosophies and just dialogue and talking about kind of like nitpicking the game in a way. I wouldn't say the channel is a comedy channel because that's just what Aaron Hansen says. He says it's not a comedy channel. It's not meant to be funny. But they're just being silly. They're being friends, talking like friends would, like you and I. And with Aaron and John, it was something special, just something magical. Like they were just two peas in a pod, and I know that's really lame saying, but they were just so well connected with each other. They just knew exactly what to say to each other and how to bounce. When they would make jokes and stuff or commentate or critique things, they just had so much to offer that like they knew how to connect the pieces together. Like they were just, Aaron was A, John was B, or if John makes a joke, it was just A, Aaron fishes off with B. It was amazing what they could come up with. It was just fantastic. And you guys know all about that. I mean, there's just so many animations of how funny their jokes were. Like people making animations on their jokes. I mean, that's pretty spectacular. Like that would be like such an honor to have someone make an animation of you. Like holy shit, like a full length animation moving. Like actual people moving for Flash, for Flash's sake. And yeah, it was just every series they did. They always had something new to bring to the table. They were always really funny. They were clever. They were diverse, and they may have been two peas in the pod, but they were very, very opposite on what they were. Sometimes on what the things they would say. Like they would definitely have two opposite views, but somehow they came together and it just created magic. Like what they say, opposites attract. And that's just something that was just such a new concept. I mean, we were watching Markiplier, Angry Video Game Nerd, and PewDiePie, like solo people making their own stuff. But these were like the colossal titans of duo commentating and game related videos. And that's what they would do. They would play your favorite games or games you never heard of, and they would just commentate on it, as I mentioned before. And, obviously you're not going to watch all the series, but I watched every single JonTron and Aaron Hansen video series because it was just so exciting to see how can they make a game like this funny or entertaining, and just how do they do that? How do they come up with that stuff, on the top of their head on the most unlikely games like Banjo-Kazooie or Run Saber or Metal Slug or Goof Troop. Oh my god, fucking Goof Troop. I'm just thinking of it now, how fucking ridiculously funny it is. I mean, it's just such a golden, iconic thing. And I think, Goof Troop, just go ahead and watch Goof Troop. It's just like one of the funniest series for Let's Plays I've ever seen. But not to get off topic, I'm just giving you guys an example so I have some proof, some sources. And yeah, it was near the end, when JonTron left, it was kind of, I think obviously he planned it, and I don't know. Well, here's the truth. I wasn't really watching Game Grumps until Danny and Aaron started doing Game Grumps, and I think that's when they were playing Mega Man 2. I think Mega Man 2, or when they were playing the first Zelda game, The Legend of Zelda, like the original. I can't remember exactly, but it could have been Mega Man 2 or that game. And I remember my friend David and his friend Alan were watching Game Grumps for the longest time, and I was like, who are these people? Because there was a lot of shouting, a lot of bickering back and forth, a lot of chatter, and I just remember just listening to them, and I never had any interest in them. And they were the ones that showed me who they were. But then eventually I was interested to check them out, and I did. With Aaron and Danny, and we'll get into their chemistry. But then I decided to start all the way back to the beginning because it's good to know how it all started. You want to know the grand adventure, the grand scheme of things, like what made this show amazing to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it was with JonTron and Aaron. They were recording for at least, I want to say, a year and a half or 2 years. I can't remember exactly, but the last game they did together was Super Star Wars. And like I said, it was just so funny. And then all of a sudden, JonTron leaves, he leaves. And a lot of people were sad about that because JonTron was just, oh my God, he was just hysterical. The amount of classic jokes and humor that guy was just your modern day, like, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. You know what I'm saying? He had that punk attitude, which was great, but he was just, he knew what he was doing, you know. He knew exactly what he was doing. Same with Aaron. He knew what he was doing too. But, you know, yeah, he left. And he left probably for a number of reasons, but I think he just wanted to do his own thing again because he wanted to go back to what made him JonTron, what made JonTron so special. You know, like he played his time, you know. You're a professional football athlete, you play for a certain number of games, and then you go retire or you go back to what you love doing most. You know, you never know. So that's what JonTron's doing now. He's making his spectacular videos still, and he's been doing it for quite a while. Yeah, he deserves way more subs though. Like I think he's just so much funnier than Game Grumps. But you know, Game Grumps will always be Game Grumps, and he'll have that certain image of funny. I mean, JonTron certainly has that image of funny, and same with Aaron Hansen's channel. But yeah, going to the Danny era, it was it was interesting to go back to the beginning of the Danny and Aaron era because I was already already past the beginning of that when I first started watching Game Grumps. And I thought they were really funny too. Like Danny, the thing is about Danny is like he was funny, you know, but he was, I guess him and Aaron were like too nice to each other compared to JonTron and Aaron. And what I mean by that, it's like, you remember how I said opposites attract? That's how I felt like with JonTron and Aaron. It's like they had their own views on games, but they somehow came together and it was just all great. Danny and Aaron were like too much on the same wavelength, which is, it's not always a bad thing because they still made each other laugh like mad, just like JonTron and Aaron, which was also great, right? Because when they laugh, it would always make you laugh too because, you know, sometimes they blow it out of proportion. Like, you may not think a joke they're saying is funny, but just the fact that they're laughing at it so much, it would make you laugh because you just follow the leader. It's just weird how our psychology works like that. But yeah, they've since like Mario 2, Punch-Out, Mega Man 2, they were all funny, really funny video game series. And Super Mario Sunshine, oh God, what other series? Oh my God, there's just so many iconic series that Danny and Aaron did. Oh, Wind Waker was like hilarious. Like, it was incredibly funny. It was fantastic. I think Wind Waker to me is like it's just as iconic as when JonTron and Aaron did Sonic 06. Like, it was just, oh my God, if you haven't watched Sonic 06 series, which is like over 100 episodes, you have to watch it because it's just hilarious. So funny. But yeah, I felt like that for a long time with them, and I was sticking with them. You know, I was keeping up with them. They were the only channel I was watching on YouTube. This is when I wasn't doing my own YouTube channel yet with David, when we made Father and Son, and then now we're Scrub Pub. We were inspired by them, you know, and just like everybody else, they were inspired too, and thus the era of Let's Play duo channels became a thing. Because they really, really inspired people to do stuff like that. So nowadays, you know, it's really hard to stick out as a funny duo because there's so many. There's just so fucking many. Like, YouTube probably like shat themselves when they realized how many people were doing what they were doing, you know. So for you guys out there listening and you feel like YouTube is taking a shit on you, I feel like that too. But you gotta realize how many people are doing the same fucking thing as you. So it's really hard to stick out. And if you sub for people to pay attention to you, you're pathetic. I'm just saying. If you can't handle yourself in the YouTube world, then I doubt you can even handle the truth and fucking reality. So, hey, you got a problem with what I'm saying about you? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, because I don't fucking care how you feel right now, because this is how I feel. I love getting off topic on emotions. It's great. So yeah, they definitely brought a cult of gamers. Just trying. Some tried too hard, some didn't try enough, and some they passed it. They did well enough to get some kind of fame. And I commend those people that did it. you know, so it's great, you know. I mean, my opinion, I think our stuff is funny too, you know. I mean, you should hear us in the beginning, how random we were. Like, as I took some references from JonTron, because JonTron and Aaron were super random on how they were making jokes and stuff, but it all made sense, like I said. And David and I were inspired by the same thing, just like all of you. Yes, the good old memories. But we're forgetting one thing: the fall of Game Grumps. Yes, the nitty gritty. What happened? What made me not care about Game Grumps anymore? Have you guys heard of this little thing that they started to do when Mario Party 8 came out, called the subscribe button? Oh yes. Mario Party 8, the least, just not even not even close to being anywhere funny as a series, besides the last episode when they actually fucking tried. But that was the series that made me realize that they were changing how they were approaching things. The subscribe button was the start. And I understand that your channel needs to evolve somehow and not just stay stagnant or one track. But I don't know. I got this feeling like I just knew that they were slowly becoming sellouts because, you know, you have over 1 million or 2 million subs. Like, you don't need a subscribe button. You really don't. The subscribe button is on your fucking screen already. If you have that little bookmark or whatever that thing, watermark, I guess, you can click that, or the subscribe button's below the video. So it's just like, what? You don't need to have a subscribe button on there. And that didn't help when I was watching the Mario Party 8 series, because it was not fucking funny at all. So that's when it started. That's when the decline was, when it happened. And I was giving their other channels a chance, or their other series a chance. And maybe I just had this new, I had this mask over me, or just this new filter that I knew that they weren't that funny anymore. But they did have a couple series after that were pretty funny. Like their Disney Princess game, that was hilarious. Like, that was really fucking funny. But, you know, that's just one of many. And I don't know. Maybe I got used to their humor. Maybe it was just predictable. Maybe they were predictable instead of unpredictable. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It just, all of a sudden from there, I just didn't care about them anymore. And it's sad because, you know, maybe they're still really funny. Maybe people, you know, obviously people who are just now subscribing to them probably think they're the funniest fucking people ever on the planet. But just the things they were doing recently and during, it just put a stale taste in my mouth. Like, they were playing, what Zelda game was it? Oh my god, which one was it? Oh, they were playing Skyward Sword, and they did full on body cam, like a full visualization of them on a couch playing the game. You could even see the gameplay on the screen. And I'm like, what? You can just hear the background noise or the game noise. I'm like, what are they doing? And I watched that episode, and they just sat there and just said the dumbest shit. And they weren't funny. It was like, I understand when the camera's on you, it's a little nerve-wracking, but at the same time, it's like, what? I was like, what are they doing? It's like, that's, like I said, that's great. You want to evolve, but at the same time, oh my god. And this is when I stopped watching. I unsubscribed to them and everything. I unsubscribed to them before that, because I realized that they weren't the Game Grumps they used to be and what they represented. They were just becoming sellouts, because their humor wasn't original. There's just nothing was there anymore. I just didn't feel like it. And that Wind Waker shit proved it to me. They're not Wind Waker, Skyward Sword. That shit proved it to me that they were not funny anymore. I mean, there are plenty of people out there that do face cams and webcams, and they're 1,000,000 times more funny. Like, Markiplier was better than them, and I can't stand Markiplier because he's a tryhard too, with his fucking dyeing of his hair. Ooh, I'm just trying to support people. Whatever, dude. You're just fucking full of yourself. With your Demi Lovato hair life. Because Demi Lovato does that too. And they kind of look similar. Anyway, yep. So it's sad because Game Grumps was a series I became, I fell in love with right from the beginning, and it's sad that it had to end this way because you can always argue it's like, yeah, you get used to things and they're not as, you get used to anything and it's not as great anymore. But that doesn't mean you can't still enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just didn't enjoy it anymore, period. Like, you can buy a video game. Of course, the first time you play it, it's going to be the best and most memorable. And then you play it for so long, and you just get to this certain plateau where it gives you this certain amount of entertainment. So it's up to the game to keep you on your feet and keep you entertained. And you beat the whole game. You get all the way through, and you enjoyed it. You loved it. You didn't quit midway. But Game Grumps, I don't know how long this is going to go, but they ran out of entertainment ideas. They weren't entertaining anymore. I was on this path, and they fucking did a complete reversal for me. They basically made me fall off the path. So their lasting appeal, I guess, which is sad. Isn't that great? But you know what's funny is that JonTron still is a funny guy. He's still original. He still knows how to be creative. So take a look at that guy. That guy's making something out of himself. He doesn't fucking care about that shit. He definitely realized that Game Grumps was just them playing games, and he wanted to do something more expressive, something more creative that required brain power, because, when you're recording, you're not really thinking, not taking the time to just sit there and think of something to say. You're just saying what's on your mind. And if you're good at it, you're good at it. If you're bad at it, you're bad at it. So this is how it is. So yes, folks, that to me is the fall of Game Grumps. Not being funny anymore, not being original, not being classic. And people who watch them now, I feel sorry for them because they have no idea what they're missing out of the John era. Because a lot of people, when they join a channel, they watch the most recent. They don't want to go all the way back because it's just too much. Well, if you present yourself well enough, going back would not be a problem, like it was for me with Game Grumps. But yeah, there are channels out there that just look ugly and hideous, and their stuff just doesn't seem that interesting to me anymore, or interesting to me, period, if I'm looking at a new channel. Presentation and sex appeal is a thing. How attractive your channel is. But yeah, everything else. Okay, I'll get to it in a second. Everything else Game Grumps has been doing, it's been the same for the most part, with their thumbnails, their intro, the general usual, the usual commentary style, and then playing games. That's always been there, which is, okay. At least they didn't fucking sell out on that, which I can't blame them. I mean, I'll just know that if they did fucking sell out on that shit sucks. If they don't do that crap anymore. But, yep. That is something. And another thing I didn't care about Game Grumps, oh yes, another fall of Game Grumps point, this will be the last point, was them having this stupid fucking thing called Steam Train, which barely starred Aaron and Danny. Well, originally it started Danny and Ross with some Australian, or Barry, their editor, but it was never really Aaron and Danny, because Aaron and Danny were doing Game Grumps and Danny was doing this shit with other people. And I'm just like, what? No, please, no. It's just like, who are all these fucking people to bring into their channel? Like, what? I can understand guest appearances is fine, but these other people, like, no. Just stick with the classic duo, and then maybe the occasional new person or something, but not every fucking time, It's just, God, stick with the old routine that worked. So guys, anyway, that has been the podcast for the fall of Game Grumps, and I forgot to mention the goddamn time. It is 11:22 p.m. I was waiting for you to say the date, because that's the usual thing I do. September 13th, 2016. And yes, let me know how you feel about Game Grumps. Your true feelings. Leave it in the comments below. I love to hear it. I'd love for you to watch my other stuff, my other podcasts, talking about more game-related stuff. Check out the comments on JonTron, the comments on Game Grumps, or just anything. But thanks a lot, guys, and have a great night. Don't forget to vote for Trump.